This is the Great Legend, and I am coming at you live with a DC's New 52 review of Superman issues 1 through 6. Fans, it's been a long time since I've done a DC's New 52 review, and since I got my books late this week, I happened to read a lot of Green Lantern, and I read the first 6 issues of Superman from DC's New 52. The New 52, you know how I play it, fans. The New 52, DC for life. This is DC's New 52, Superman. This came back out, I guess, in, October 2011, when issue 1 came out. This is by George Perez and Jesus Moreno. And let me tell you, this first issue, 6 issues here. Also, the cover art was done by George Perez, was one of the main guys that did this cover. But let me tell you, this first issue, I started reading it, and a lot of it was told in by a narrator. You know, the narrator, aka George Perez here. He's kind of filling us in on present day New 52, because same month Action Comics #1 was released, which in the New 52 folklore, that is 5 years prior to present day New 52 Action Comics, how it started. So, of course, that was when, you can check my past videos to find my Action Comics New 52 review. Superman's running around in blue jeans and a white shirt, and he doesn't know how to fly yet, and things of that nature. But this issue's present day New 52. Lots of dialogue, a lot of reading in this issue. George Perez is laying down that foundation of all the behind-the-scenes stuff that's happening in Metropolis. How the Daily Planet, the news corporation, got sold off to a more global news corporation, if you will. And, how everything is not newspapers anymore. A lot of stuff's online, a lot of news story. So it's showing how the Daily Planet fits in. Lois is actually high on the food chain as being a producer of an old news network now and all that stuff, while Clark still works mainly, doing the newspaper articles and things of that nature. But tons of reading. I can see why a lot of people might get turned off on this issue 1 just because there's a lot to read. Actually, in issue, the fun thing about this book, though, is issue 2, a lot more to read. Issue 3, and by the time you get to, I would say, the middle part of issue 2, it sucked me in. I don't know, you'll have to read this and make your own decisions, but it definitely sucked me in by issue 2, and I couldn't stop reading them. So, I went all the way from 1 to 6 because I enjoyed the story so much. As you see in this picture here, it's kind of misleading. The Daily Planet globe, this is actually a picture of the old globe because they got rid of the old globe and they put a new one up. So just really cool. The artwork in here is really great. I really loved Jesus Moreno's artwork in this book as well. Thought it was really great. This first issue here, it talks about Superman's getting in a villain primarily after, Perez goes through a lot of the history, or not history, but what's going on in the New 52 Metropolis portion of the DC universe. Superman starts getting in a battle with this flaming creature, just totally made of fire. The creature itself, the fire started in a building where this security guard worked, and it just so happens that the fire monster used the security guard's body to become this fire monster, and it kind of used this security guard as a host. So of course, when the security guard woke up after the fire monster was defeated in this issue, he of course didn't really remember anything, and his eyes were funky looking, kind of like red-eyed, kind of like Superman is now. He kind of had the red eyes going, which means he was what's the word, he wasn't in control of his own body. It was someone else, or a virus, if you will. Issue 2, Of course, Superman beats our flaming monster because he is the Man of Steel, kicks ass all the time. Another awesome art's amazing in this. This book here was also a little bit long, you know, a lot of just talking in it, which is fine. That may turn some people off. I know some folks just prefer art. I mean, the art is here. The dialogue is here. A lot more dialogue in here than the first issue. I felt first issue here had more of the background story. Kind of reminded me, this first issue really reminded me a lot of like the old Fantastic Four issues where Stan would just kind of go on his own and talk, you know, which is kind of funny. It's reminiscent, and it seems like a lot of people don't like that, but I love a good story, and Perez tells a great one here. Issue 2, this was a really interesting one. And I'm not going to tell you about it just yet, but because Superman doesn't know what the hell's going on. But he defeats the fire monster with cold breath, of course. And now he's fighting another huge monster. But this monster, he's a really big, green, powerful monster with flight and all this stuff and really strong super strength. But he's invisible to Superman. Superman cannot see this monster. However, the public can see him. It's just Superman, being Kryptonian, can't see him. So the monster has adapted, or this monster has adapted. But we'll find out in the story that these monsters are related. So Superman takes this guy down into a electronics store where there's tons of TV monitors and everything, and the Planet and the news, they're reporting on the fight here, wondering why Superman's not fighting back, just taking punches. So finally Superman does fight back and destroys the monster here. Superman saves the day again. Around this time, there is a guy that works for the news who's just really bashing Superman. He's wondering, every time Superman's in the area, evil is happening. So is Superman a messiah or a menace? Is he good or bad? You know, what's going on here? Why is there so much damage when Superman's around? Is he the one causing it? You know? So this one news guy, his name's William McCoy. He's kind of pissing Superman off. Because, you know, Clark's Superman, and Clark actually works close with this guy for the big news company. This issue here, I don't really like the cover of this issue. I like the ice monster here, who he's fighting. It says a city frozen, and it's Superman's fault. I don't really like Superman. I think he's kind of skinny here. Almost like the backside of him kind of looks like a Superboy. You know, he's not tough and big like he is in some of the other ones. So that's my only complaint there, but otherwise I like the story. So in this one, he has a friend, a news friend, that the infection or whatever takes over her body, turns into this snow monster. So it's a big snow cyclone, and all of Metropolis is getting frozen. So Superman has to fight his way through this big old cyclone of ice and see that it is his news friend. So he shoots the heat ray vision right above her head where it's coming from, and he defeats the ice monster that way. So he defeats the ice monster. However, his friend disappears until she turns up again, giving an interview. Also, to let you know, this monster here in issue 2, he was using a host body of a hobo, or a kind of a, I don't want to like bash hobos or people, street dwellers, but that's what it was. Somebody that lived in a abandoned subway, pretty much. This one here, Superman finally figures out what's attacking him right here. So you have your invisibility monster, you have your fire monster, and you have the ice monster. So all of these beings are just attacking Superman right here. And what Superman finds out, if you look really close near the end of this issue, what it is, it's not a virus, but it's nanotechnology, also known as nanoites or whatever, or just small little creatures. And what was cool about it, in the book itself, they look like little spiders, maggots, like little insects, mechanical of course, and they all infest Superman's body. So Superman turns into an evil Superman. Anyone ever seen Superman 4, Quest for Peace? Remember when he was kind of evil? No, that was Superman. No, my bad. That was Superman 3, the one with Richard Pryor. That was the one where Superman became evil. The movie, of course. But, so yeah, he turns evil here, and he has the powers of all these beings. Except he never turns invisible, but his heat vision is way more powerful. The ice breath is way more powerful. So just souped up. This issue here, Superman, the real Superman, is up in space, kind of just in a coma. But his brain is sharing the thoughts and mind and memories of this new being's brain. This is all the nanite technologies together as one: fire, ice, and invincibility. And this guy now, it's called the Purge in this issue here. It was Prepared to be Purged Superman. What these nanite things are doing is, as Superman, any bad stuff that's going on in Metropolis, they're doing the judge, jury, executioner, So the terrorists that were terrorizing Metropolis, this being wants to kill all of them. This being actually takes the news guy, that William McCoy, I think that's his name, and holds him up and starts messing with him because he doesn't like the being doesn't like being talked to, talk trash to. But this is another George Perez. This time we have Nikolai Scott on the artwork inside the book, and I found it about equal. I think I didn't miss much. I mean, the art was still good here. Just another great issue, but this one here is the evil Superman's doing a lot of bad stuff. We also find out that since these three beings are now in, not per se in Superman's body, but all of the nanites together, since they purged Superman, they created their own Superman being. So, kind of like a Superman clone or an evil Superman clone, just made out of these nanite things. And it's called Attack of the Superpowers. So, another great issue here. But the best issue of them all was the final issue of this 6-part series here. This is Superman. When he turns bad, run. And the opening of this one, which was really cool, he finally busts in to, or one of the opening scenes, he busts in to the news place where that guy McCoy is giving, just talking trash about him, like how Superman's doing nothing but bad. He's doing everything wrong. How can we trust this guy or whatnot? And what happens is he just busts in, takes the guy, takes him all the way to the roof, and holds him over the building and drops him. And then good old Kara here, she comes in and saves the guy. Now at this point in the New 52 universe, she's still speaking Kryptonian. She hasn't learned American English all the way yet. So she fights this guy one-on-one. And they go fighting, and it's the nanite guy is really just kicking her butt because there's a little extra oomph with the the heat vision and all that stuff, and he's just a little bit stronger because not only has this nanite technology adapted and created their own superhuman body of the fake evil Superman, it just amplifies the powers of Superman as well. So, really cool story here. What happens is Lois is, during the whole time, they're wondering where the hell Clark Kent is. Of course, Clark's just up in space with all these little bugs that have subdued him, and he's kind of in a coma. But what happens is, finally Clark hears from, his mind is tied in with the mind here, so when Lois is screaming out Clark's name, this being hears Lois screaming, and that wakes up our Superman in space. Superman in space gets rid of all the bugs around him, flies down because she's about to just get killed. I mean, he's just pulverizing her. Climbs down, or flies down, takes this guy to a secluded area and starts destroying him. And finally, we see what really is cool is when the real Superman is beating up this fake Superman, he's punching the Superman, and you can see all the nanite stuff, robotic stuff, just kind of like getting destroyed. And it's like this Superman here is like melting, but not melting. He's just like losing his he's coming apart really like a robot breaking. He's coming apart in millions of different little nanite bug looking metallic robot pieces. So Superman saves the day. Him and Cousin make up. And Superman is doing all this on camera where they know that it's two Supermans and one's evil, and then the real Superman is telling the world that, hey, it's not him, but General Lane's forces don't need to come any closer because Superman is going to fix the problem. And we find out during the storyline, it has some of those deals, check out Action Comics, blah, 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 blah. Well, this nanite technology lived on another planet that was attacked by the Collector of Worlds, right? Which, for me, that's Brainiac, you know, the Collector of Worlds. But they don't call him Brainiac, I guess, yet in some of the old Action Comics issues because they don't know about the Brainiac or why he's doing it. But he collects all of those nanites and stuff. And what happens is, in Action Comics, when Clark gets his ceremonial Krypton armor, you know, suit here, they attach those nanite things. They explode the jar that city was in because they wanted to get out, and they attach themselves to his suit here. So for 5 years, they've kind of slowly been, you know, munching off his suit and all his stuff. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. That's why you definitely need to read this book. I mean, you may think that I heard a lot of bad stuff about this book when it came out. And I've been collecting this book forever. I just haven't had any time to really get to it because I missed the boat on it. And I hadn't had time because I got a lot of other current reads. So whenever I have time, for instance, when my books don't come on time, like I've already read up to issue 21 of Green Lantern. This is not New 52, this is pre-New 52. But I'm up to the Sinestro Corps War of Jeff Johns. Sinestro Corps War of Jeff Johns, pre-New 52. And, you know, I'm getting caught up on Green Lantern. And I'm going to get the trade of the Sinestro Corps War. So what better way to start with reading some Superman by George Perez here, the first 6 issues. So fans, if you enjoyed this review, if you kind of understood what I was talking about, check this series out. Below in the video description I have links to where you can get this book from mycomicshop.com. And even better, if you just want to read it in a collected story and not go single issues, the hardcover and the trade paperback are available as well. Just check the links below and you can order those today, and it'll get to you really soon. And read this story. I mean, the art's great. The storyline was a little long if you're not a big reader. But if you can get past the first issue and get a little into the second issue, I promise you, you're not going to want to put this story down. It was that good. So fans, check it out. DC's New 52 review right here, coming at you live from the great legend himself. I give this book 5 out of 5 because it was kick-ass. Check it out. This is the great legend saying peace out. God bless.